Aloha y'all, Daniel Aaron here, your guide to vibrant living, and we help spiritual people to finally get their physical, earthly lives to match up to their vision, values, and potential. And I'm guessing, if you're tuned in here, you have heard of this radical concept called visualization. So, assuming so, here's a question for you. How's it going? Like, one, what does it mean? Do you believe in it? Two, are you doing it? And what is your success level? Now, I'll confess to you, I'm going to tell you a story here. This is one of those, like, I was going to say ear tingling. No, spine tingling, goose pimple sort of things that happened for me recently. And confession, though, I've known about visualization for real 30 years. I remember reading Shakti Gawain's Creative Visualization 30 years ago. And I feel like I'm just getting the tiniest bit of understanding about it now. So, a little over 2 months ago, I returned from a trip with my daughter. We went to Peru, we went to Puerto Rico. It was an amazing trip. We get home and we find out, you gotta move. Right? And we are renting, we live on Maui, and we're renting. That's part of the game, you know, if you get a lease, we have plenty of notice, no problem. Except, incredibly challenging market right now. I mean, it's so tight, and in this realm of the third dimension, physical reality as we understand it, so much competition, price is so high. Literally, right, so I got into the game, I started, seeing places, writing to places. One place that looked like a good possibility for us, I had a great correspondence with the woman who owned it. She said that within 1 day of her posting, I kid you not, she had 1,600 emails, 1,600 different emails. So, I'm smarter than the average bear. Well, debatable, yes, I know. However, we could say that I'm tuned into some things that not everybody is. So I think to myself, I'm going to go up above 3D level. I'm going to visualize. I'm going to go into the field. I'm going to enter the quantum realm where all things are possible, the realm of thought that precedes matter. Right? I know about this stuff a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to go into that realm and I'm going to create from there and then attract to us what we need. Now, you may be hearing some tones in here. There are many great teachers, Napoleon Hill, Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, Neville Goddard. They've all taught about this in different ways, law of attraction, all that. So, that's what I do. I start working it, right, in the field, in my meditative practice, visualizing, feeling, creating, and it's not working. Like, it's going kind of rough. Like, I'm not finding places that I love. I'm looking more. It's taking a lot of time, and time's ticking along, starting to get a little bit stressful. Meanwhile, I had a trip planned to go see one of my teachers to do a mastermind group in Puerto Rico again, mid-May. And so my daughter and I, she's 15, she's like, look, you gotta decide on a place before then. And to be fair, I had seen some places that were okay, tolerable, livable, right? This is a first world challenge. Like, I have high standards. I wanted a place that I really loved, where we would thrive. I wanted a place where I could make videos for you and there would be a beautiful environment that was conducive to it. Well, I thought about canceling the trip to Puerto Rico because one, this whole move thing, that's going to be really expensive. Two, it's getting down to the wire. Like, it's mid-May is the mastermind group. We have to move out by the end of May. And I still haven't found a place, so I agreed with my daughter. I'll choose by the time I go on the trip. And guess what? Thing is, I had a feeling inside me that we would find. I trusted, I had faith, more than the faith of a mustard seed. I believed that we would find a place that was extraordinary and awesome, right? Very grateful that I had the means to be able to afford a good place, right? A big blessing in this time, space, reality. Anyway, I say, all right, I'm gonna up my faith. I'm go to Puerto Rico. Guess what? In Puerto Rico, my friend and teacher, David Baer, coach that I work with, he's like, I wanna dial in this 4D technology, he called it. And he calls it 4D technology based on Neville Goddard's work. Joe Dispenza talks about it as the fifth dimension. Some people talk about 6th, 12th, whatever. We can agree upon, and quantum physics supports this, metaphysics supports this, that there is a reality beyond what the physical senses can perceive, right? Call it energy, which precedes the particle, the quantum, the potential, the thought realm, right? Where everything that's in physical reality starts, right? It's consciousness that creates the physical counterpart. Are you with me? Yes, this is probably familiar stuff to you, right? And of course, I'm guessing you might have a little bit in common with me, that it's one thing to know it here, it's another thing to practice it. So, have a great time in Puerto Rico, connect with fellow people in that community. Wonderful. Get the technology dialed in. I say, Neville Goddard, I remember I bought a book of his some years ago. I go back into my Kindle. Oh yeah, there it is. I read like 4 pages of it. Okay. Start reading again. Get the audio version of his book. Start listening to that. Hearing his stories, ramping things up for me. The imaginal act. What is it? Imaginal act is where you create in your imagination a scene that is just what you want to happen or what you want to create, or a scene that somehow verifies that this happened, right? So I could go into more detail on that, but we'll leave that for another time, the imaginal act. I start really practicing the imaginal act deeper into how I would feel having found the house that does all the things I want, that feels right for us. Less than a week till the end of the month. What are we gonna do? We gotta go, right? 5 days remaining before the end of the month. A friend of mine sends me a message. Hey, some students of ours are going to move. They need to leave by the end of, they're gonna leave by the end of the month, and I think you might like their house that they're moving out of. Could I introduce you? Yes, please. So, speak to those folks on the phone that very same day. They say, well, look, we're on this thing where we don't actually have to, we don't have any lease with our landlord, so we can move at the end of the month and there's no problem, we're not in any violation. However, we really like our landlord and we love to be able to say, we found someone perfect to move in. So I said, okay, great, let's see it. That's it, by the way, this is the home. We'll get to that part though. So I come, meet them, see the place, I'm like, this is the one. So a day later, they send a message to the landlord and say, hey, buddy, we are leaving at the end of the month and we got this guy that wants to move in. And turns out, can't make this up, the guy who's not living on Maui had come to Maui just for a week, arrived that very morning. So he calls me that day and he says, hey, you want to meet up? I say, yeah, let's meet up. I come meet him. Nice vibe, joking around, playing, good guy, can see it right away. He shows me around the house. I say, look, I don't need any more. I'm ready to go forward if you are. He says, okay, well, we'll I'll get you the application. And his partner gets me the application. Meanwhile, he does something horrible, which is he lists it on Craigslist that day, right? Which means what? It means that he gets 1,600 applications come in. I don't hear from him for 2 days, right? And we're how close to the end of the month now? Really close. 2 days later, I call him. I was like, so, how is it going? What's the score? And he's like, well, I've had so many applications. It's really overwhelming, and all these people, and somebody offered to give me cash up front for the whole year. Somebody said they're only going to be here for a couple of weekends out of the year, but somehow, Daniel, I just keep coming back to you. And even though I don't really know those people that recommend you very well, in fact, they don't even know you very well, something just feels right about it. Pause. Interject. What have I been doing? I've been creating this imaginal act where I'm living in this house, right? Where I'm making this video for you, where I'm having a dinner party with my friends, right? Where I'm sitting in the sauna enjoying it, where I'm hearing the roosters and the quiet and the beautiful views and the West Maui Mountains over there and the ocean behind us. When he put it on Craigslist, what did I do? I went to his ad and I took some of those images and I put it into a mind movie. If you don't know mind movies, incredibly cool technology. So I actually put those images in my mind movie. So what was going on here? He didn't know why. And if you're watching, Jeff, I'm thinking this is how the universe works. He didn't know why he kept feeling good about me. He could have chosen lots of other people that probably looked better. I mean, cash up front for the year, that's pretty cool, right? I'm a little bit different than some folks in terms of my business and revenue with cryptocurrency and with my business. I don't have a lot of verifiable income from that normal perspective. He could have chosen somebody with a job and a regular salary, and he chose me, right? Or the universe whispered to him for me to come here. So I tell you this because what I have learned in this process is knowing in my head is different than actually practicing. So the practice that I did is every night before bed, I would close my eyes and put myself in that imaginal act. And I gave you some of the details. The more you make it sensory, where you can feel it, see the details, get the emotion of it, the more powerful it is. I told you about what I did with the mind movie, right? And I won't go into it here. In the very same week, I think of that as the universe winking, the universe saying, let me show you how I can orchestrate things much better than you. Right? One of my mantras these days is more rudder, less rower, as in my job is to imagine. So that great quotation Albert Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Well, this is exactly why, because when we imagine the future, the reality, the experience that we do want, then we bring that into being. And I had another one in this very same week, which I'll tell you about another time, though. Short version, and because this may relate to you, is I've come to a new offer in my coaching world, in my business, which is I've opened up the curriculum that I designed called Living the Vibration of Vibrancy, which is really like, to me, it's the owner's manual, the instruction booklet for how to live a vibrant life that, I don't know about you, but I never got. Took me 27 years of hard work, study, practice to really get it dialed in. And I'm still learning, and there's always more to grow into, right? So I built this curriculum, a 7-week transformational program, and now for the first time ever, I'm offering it specifically as a one-on-one guided experience only to 5 clients, right? Because there's a lot of customization, bespoke attention that goes into it. And I was about to list that publicly last week, make an announcement about it for various reasons. I haven't done so yet, and there's actually only 4 spaces left. So that's another story for another time, how that came to be. So this week, the universe is winking a lot, and I'm super grateful, including I'm grateful to you for tuning in, for having the dedication to live your vibrant life, make it a masterpiece. If you're interested in one of those 4 remaining spots, just send me a message, DM. If you got comments, questions, I would love to hear it here. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, subscribe. Let's stay connected. Thank you. Aloha.